There's an eye in my wall. It looks like a human eye. The iris is brown, and it's about the right size. It blinks with Caucasian skin, but its eyelids disappear into the drywall when it's open. It watches me when it's awake, but it sleeps too. It didn't used to be there. I saw it for the first time when I got home 3 days ago. I was terrified. I picked up a sharpened pencil, and I was going to dig it out of my wall, turn it to mashed gel, and scoop it clean. But something stopped me. I think it was the way the eye looked at me. They say eyes don't have emotions, that it's all in the eyebrows and lips of the face. But this eye looked more terrified than I was. I put the pencil down. I thought, maybe this eye doesn't want to be here either. Maybe it's not here to hurt me. I tried speaking to it, but it didn't understand. How could it? It couldn't hear me. The eye didn't look as scared now that I had put down the pencil. It looked curious. Cautious, but curious. I was still frightened. I held a finger out beside my head and shifted it from left to right. The eye followed. I checked the other side of the wall. It was normal. This apartment has thin walls. I should have been able to see the back of the eye. I don't know how it could be there. I don't know how it could move around. But it was there. I took a thick marker and wrote a message down on a piece of paper. I wrote, "Look over my right shoulder if you can understand this." The eye scanned the page for a moment, then looked over my right shoulder. I took a second sheet and wrote another message. I wrote, "Do you know why you are here?" with instructions for the eyeball to nod or shake. It shook for no. I wrote a third message. "Are you human?" The eye hesitated. I crossed out the first word and changed the message. "Were you human?" The eye nodded. "Do you know what happened to you?" The eye shook. "Do you know where you are?" The eye shook. "Are you anywhere other than here?" The eye hesitated. I clarified. "Your eyeball is in my apartment. Is the rest of you somewhere else?" The eyeball began to nod, then paused. It seemed unsure. I changed tactics. I took a minute to write out the alphabet on a sheet of paper below a single question. "What is your name?" One by one, I pointed my finger at the letters, waiting for a nod and restarting from A when I got one. With my help, the eye spelled out Catherine. I would have taken Kate, but I suppose the eye wanted me to know its full identity. I wonder if I would have laughed had it spelled out Iris instead. With our new system, I asked again, "Are you anywhere other than here, Catherine?" The answer came slowly. Very slowly. At one point I wanted to interrupt, but I didn't. At another point, I wanted to interrupt again, and so I did. I rewrote the alphabet on a new sheet of paper. A, E, I, O, U, and Y were at the top, followed by 4 groups, each consisting of 5 consonants. The eye would nod as I slowly ran my finger down these groups, 1 of vowels and 4 of consonants, then nod again as I ran my finger across them to select a letter. The eye would shake to mean the end of a word. Using this system, I was able to get the eye's reply. I had to write out each letter, of course. I still have the sheet I used. The eye answered as follows. "I can hear the ocean in my left ear. Occasionally, it is splashed by a sprinkle of water. I think it must be on a beach. My right ear hurts. Several hours ago I heard the sounds of traffic through it, and then it was crushed. I think it must be on a road somewhere. I can still hear traffic through it, but it's muffled. My ear must have closed in on itself when it was run over. It hurts. It really hurts. The eye was starting to annoy me. I felt bad for it, but getting its message was taking too long. I only realized that I was gritting my teeth in irritation at this point in the message. I stopped for a moment, wondering when I became so cruel. I took a breath, trying not to let the eye see the rage I was feeling, and let it continue its answer. My nose is full of water. I can't breathe. It feels like I'm drowning, even though my lungs are clear. My other eye won't open, and there's a pressure behind its eyelids. I don't know where it is. The eye stared at me, seeming to imply it was done. I began writing out my next question, when it drew my attention by rapidly looking up and down repeatedly. After this, it added the following to its previous answer. I think my skin is gone. I can't feel any of it. And I'm very hungry somewhere. Now the eye was finished. It stared at me with that same strange, cautious curiosity. I went back to my question. Catherine, I wrote, do you know who did this to you? The eye nodded. But you don't know how? The eye nodded. Is there anything I can do to help? The eye looked unsure for a moment, then shook. For some reason, that upset me. Is there anything anyone can do to help? I asked. The eye shook. I wasn't sure what to ask it after that. I sat at the foot of my bed for a time, just thinking. I could only look at the eye for a few seconds before my gaze went downwards. It felt wrong to stare. Her name was Catherine. She was an eye in my wall, and an ear on the beach, and an ear on the road. Her nose was drowning. She hadn't mentioned a mouth, but she was hungry. Catherine just kept staring at me, blinking. It was all she could do, I suppose. I felt glad that she could blink. Giving her eye drops would be a big burden on me, one I was likely to neglect if it had been expected of me. I asked if she had a mouth somewhere. She nodded. I lifted the grouped letter sheet for her to elaborate. Slowly, painfully slowly, she spelt out the following answer. It's somewhere dry. I don't think anyone is near it, because I've been screaming. I was trying to talk to you at first as well. Wherever my mouth is, those words never met ears. They were lost. I nodded, thinking she was done, but she shook her eye around to request that she continue. She spelled the following. I am so vulnerable, so exposed. I have no agency. I can't protect myself. She stopped there. I suppose she had finished. I didn't see the point behind her message. I'm sure it was true, but I didn't understand the purpose of sharing it with me. I wrote my next question. Do you want to die? Catherine didn't answer. She just stared at the question for a long, long time, then looked straight at me. Not moving, not blinking, not answering, just staring right at me. It made me uncomfortable. I lowered the sheet with the question and put it to the side. I felt I had to do something for her now. I felt strangely guilty. Racking my brain, I came up with the question, do you know any phone numbers you would like me to call? That question excited her. She nodded enthusiastically. I wrote a sheet of numbers, and using our same system, she spelt out a phone number for me. I asked her to spell out the message she wanted me to deliver, too. It was deeply upsetting, deeply personal. The kind of thing a person should keep to themselves. I wish she hadn't shared it with me. But I had made an obligation, so I delivered the phone call nonetheless, and made sure to never offer that kind of thing to Catherine again. Our first conversation ended there. I had no interest in continuing to talk to her. A few times she tried to get my attention, shaking her eye around to tell me she had something to spell out. I shook my head each time. I was done for the night. Catherine was saddened by each rejection. I had trouble sleeping that night. Catherine was watching me the whole time. When I woke, her eye was closed. It wouldn't open for several more hours. The sound of my alarm hadn't woken her, of course. That was when I knew she could still sleep in her current form, drifting off to the sounds of the ocean and ignoring the throbbing pain in her crushed ear, ignoring the ravenous hunger building up inside her. We spoke on 5 more occasions after that. I continued my job as a postman, but when I returned home, Catherine would ask to speak with me. Each time I felt an obligation to let her spell out whatever messages she had, but each time I put it off for as long as I felt I could get away with. I didn't like speaking to Catherine. Her answers took too long, and they were too upsetting. Something about her made me angry. I didn't like the way it felt to be around her. The eye in my wall told me more about herself during these conversations. She had been an American. She had liked her life, but not taken the time to enjoy it in all the ways she wished she could have. She told me her full name, and asked that I call a few more phone numbers for her. I didn't want to, so I wrote down the numbers and the messages, then pretended to deliver them. I didn't even need to really speak, just move my mouth. It was enough to convince her. She seemed relieved to be getting her messages out. I was glad she wasn't as weepy. It was unpleasant when she got like that. At one point she asked questions of me. She wanted to know where her eye was, what country, what city, what address. I lied to her. Something told me that I should lie to her. I gave her an address that I frequently deliver parcels to instead. The Hamiltons' place. A good family. She told me that something had found her mouth. Catherine was gone 9 days after I first saw her. My apartment wall was back to normal. Smooth drywall, with no sign of her ever having been inside it. I don't know where she went. Maybe she became a human again. Maybe her parts all changed locations. Maybe she disappeared from everywhere, all at once. I hadn't said goodbye. I hadn't known she was going. I think she liked me in the end. I think she was glad to have appeared in my apartment, rather than anyone else's. I still have all of her sheets of paper, the last things she wrote before disappearing, all her phone numbers and all her messages. But the sheets are all mixed up. I could try to untangle them, but I don't think I will. I'll probably just get rid of them the next time I'm cleaning my desk. The parcels outside the Hamiltons' house have been piling up recently. I wish they would bring them inside.